Our next story goes directly to Seth Rogan. Everybody's, favorite dude, Weed Lamau, guy who has basically infiltrated all of our favorite things, being a part of the Hollywood remake. But hey, credit where credit is due. People seem to like The Boys. It's not a show I've ever watched. But Seth Rogan is truly one of the most insufferable humans on the planet. I remember famously him DMing Count Dankula to question whether or not he was Jewish for some reason. He is one of the weirdest, fake cope individuals online. And now he's getting absolutely dragged by the internet over some recent comments he made. No kids, no problem. Seth Rogan and his child-free lifestyle spark heated debate. How about this? These people are dead inside. Andrew Tate slams Seth Rogan and his wife Lauren Miller for their life choices. Now, I think this is on Fandom Wire, so let's give them the credit as opposed to the aggregator site. Andrew Tate has been a controversial figure, blah, 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 blah. This isn't really about Tate. But they're going to make it about him. Speaking on the Howard Stern show, Rogan mentioned how he and his wife are against having kids, that they want to do other things in their life and they want to have time to do it. His wife, actress and director Lauren Miller, has also been invested in multiple ventures that she has constantly been working. Seth Rogan said that he does not want to bring more people into this world. He said, quote, "I don't know anyone who gets as much happiness out of their kids as we get out of our non-kids. Like, we're effing psyched all the time. We're laying in bed on Saturday mornings, smoking herb, watching movies, nude. If we had kids, we couldn't be effing doing this. Who looks at the planet right now and thinks, you know what we need now? More effing people. It's a truly confounding thing to me." Well, I think if you're like me, you would probably say, I'm glad that you're not reproducing. I'm glad. You see, Andrew Tate, it's soulless. Movies and weed, great. Wow, nude with a girl? OMG. But not to make kids, right? These people are dead inside. Many people saying, let's look at the positives. They aren't breeding. Imagine, I think that, here's the thing. As somebody who's, getting up there in years and doesn't have kids, who hopes to have some, but it's really not, my position on this is that it's not really my, whatever. Don't have kids. That's cool. But I do think that the cope is hilarious. Like the cope that that you're just so happy and you just would be immediately unhappy if you had kids. I think that's kind of more of why people are reacting the way that they do. And it's no different than when, for example, Chelsea Handler doing this. Chelsea Handler brags again about being child-free, pointing to a faulty study that claims single women are the happiest. It's just a cope. Morgan Stanley's prediction in 2019 projected that 45% of women aged 25 to 44 would be single and childless by 2030. That, for me, is a terrifying statistic. Where are all the feminists to come help fix this? So in order to, essentially cover for the fact that they're going to be single and childless in their 40s, now they're just trying to flip the script and say, oh, well, actually, they're just happier. However, the implications for an already dipping birth replacement rate in American society are concerning. Even so, comedian Chelsea Handler has made it her mission to champion the joys of living single and childless. Earlier this year, she shared an Instagram reel showcasing a day in the life of a childless woman humorously highlighting her freedom to indulge in her own pleasures rather than attending to the demands of motherhood. Recently, Handler has resurfaced this topic with a video aiming to convince skeptics of her blissful, childless life. In response to a statistic cited by Adam Sosnick, Handler took to Twitter to share her views, stitching her video with Sosnick's. She confronted his presumptive "what's wrong with that" with a resounding "nothing." She expressed her frustration with the notion that some men couldn't digest the idea of a woman leading a fulfilled life without marriage or children, referring to it as small d energy. Sosnick's belief that women who are childless, unmarried, and financially independent at 45 can't genuinely be fulfilled met with Handler's strong rebuke. Well, here's the thing. I do believe that you can be happy and single. I do believe that that's possible. What I don't believe is that happy people run to the internet constantly to try and convince them about how happy they are. To me, you're coping on a galactic level. Seth Rogan getting in front of a microphone and be like, dude, weed Lamau, I watch cartoons in bed on Saturday morning and I'm so happy. Like, I don't think you are. If you were that happy, how come you are constantly, you have to smoke 25 joints a day just to get through? I think that they're probably trying to rationalize it. I have a feeling that their tune will change greatly when they're older and alone. And I understand that it's a thing in kind of the conservative commentary space, even though, again, I never really identify exactly with that, where people use somebody not having kids as like a disparaging. People say that to me. You're like, dude, how come you don't have any kids? Sometimes people can have kids. I'm not saying that's my case, but I'm saying that's why I don't throw that in people's faces. Sometimes people really aren't cut out for kids, okay? And that's all fine. If Seth Rogan had gone on there and said like, yeah, we've been pretty busy, and I think we're really just getting a lot of fulfillment from working on this, that, and the other thing, I don't think anyone would react this way. But when you're like, hey, I'm so happy, kids bad, I wouldn't be able to have fun if I had kids. That is DEI messaging. That is World Economic Forum messaging. Like that's we're over, the same people that say we're overpopulated, which we aren't. I mean, I think if you look at this tweet and all the people agreeing with it, I think there's something to be said there. Tristan Tate mocks Seth Rogen's appearance, compares Hollywood celeb to brother Andrew, who's 3.5 years younger. Yeah, I mean, this is like, I made an ashtray. Buy my ashtray so I can smoke 3 J's at a time. I mean, that's cool and all. But now people are like, dude, it's not cool and edgy like when you're in your 50s. Nina Infinity writes, I remember back when you were like 25. I remember when you liked this 25 years ago and it was cool and edgy back in the Freaks and Geeks days. Now it's just sad. Thanks for the PSA against weed. How are you 41? Look like you're 70. Maybe it's not a bad thing that your bloodline will end with you. I mean, it is insane. You look like you lived a hard life already and you're 39 to 40. What happened, man? I used to look up to you. So much money, so much fame, yet your life seems to have such little meaning. I thought you were funny when I grew up. Get a life. I mean, like, people, of course, making fun of the weed culture, Again, I don't have any problem with people relaxing. I don't have any problem with herb at all. Okay? I don't like the culture around it. But I don't care if you want to enjoy it, like, at all. I'm not a prude about that. Yeah, I'm not a prude-a-bega. enjoy your herb, but don't make it who you are. I can't stop staring at the stain on his shirt. I mean, everybody's just dunking on him. Thank you for not breeding. I mean, I get it. Again, here, Chelsea Handler joking about choosing childlessness. I just have this feeling. I have this feeling that these people are going to regret this at some point in their life, right? Like they're going to, they're going to retract the statements that they're just so happy. You see, Chelsea referred to an erroneous data interpretation by psychology professor Paul Dolan when saying how happy she is, who stated in his 2019 book, Happy Ever After, that single women with no children are happier than married mothers. Dolan's sensationalist statement derived from a misinterpretation of the American Time Use Survey, which records how Americans spend their time annually. Referring to a section called Spouse Absent, he said, married people are happier than other population subgroups, but only when their spouse is in the room and they're asked about how happy they are. When the spouse is not present, effing miserable. Dolan's claim was, of course, immediately discredited by Greg Kimbrough, an economist at the American University School of Public Affairs. Kimbrough, who has done his fair share of research with the American Time Use Survey, said that Dolan interpreted the category spouse absent as meaning data recorded when someone's spouse is out of the room. Spouse absent actually refers to married people whose spouses are no longer living with them. So, divorced, right? Divorced. They're not happy. There's not a lot of people more insufferable than Seth Rogan, and this week has provided even more evidence of that.